Gain their trust where you can. Trust begets influence, and influence wins allies.
Win the Landsraad and collect your rewards. Oh yeah, this is gonna be awesome. I can convert all my spice sand right now. Hey gamers, Aksunin here. In this video, I'll focus on the mechanics of the weekly Landsraad. While the Landsraad missions will overlap with the character specialization paths, character specialization will be the topic for a separate video. What is the Landsraad? Within Dune lore, the Landsraad is a council composed of the Great Houses. These are the interplanetary landed elites. In Dune Awakening, this council gathers each week to select a decree that will shape the server. Decrees can have a meaningful impact on gameplay for the week. In addition to influencing the server-wide decree, players are also working to earn individual rewards from the Landsraad houses based on their own personal contributions. This weekly competition unfolds here. Tiles representing the 25 council houses are arranged on a 5x5 grid. On this grid, we also see these icons that relate to the 5 character specialization paths. Over the course of the week, each day 5 houses of the Landsraad will begin sponsoring missions. Some houses can even be bribed to join early, and I'll discuss this mechanic later in the video. For these now active yet unclaimed houses, factions will compete to earn their favor. A small bar located below the house name can provide a quick glance view of the status of your faction's progress. The first faction to reach this goal amount will lock in that house's vote backing for the week. When a house begins to sponsor missions, they will also publish a list of rewards. These rewards are only tied to your personal contribution and are independent of the faction competition. Each mission that you complete for this house will earn personal contribution points, and then the contribution requirement for each reward is listed here. The highest tier reward for each house is a permanent color swatch that allows you to modify crafting stations and storage containers in your base using the colors of that Landsraad house. On the Missions tab, on the left side you'll see the available pool of missions. These Landsraad missions are also used to earn faction standing and XP for character specialization paths. The user interface elements shown here are related to these other systems, which will be the topic for a separate video. You can accept up to 3 missions at one time. Some players may only select missions that support a chosen specialization path. For time efficiency, other players might try to select multiple missions that can all be completed on the same map. At any one time, the mission pool only offers a selection of all possible missions. Each time you complete a mission, a new mission within the category will become available. While you are able to abandon an unwanted mission, using this method to draw a new mission is rather limited. You're only allowed to abandon a mission once per hour. And currently, once you select a house sponsor for a mission, there's no way to reassign it to a different house. As you get more familiar with each mission and each map, optimizing both mission selection and execution becomes a big part of your Landsraad strategy. Rewards related to the weekly Landsraad are listed on the left. Landsraad mission rewards include solari credits. These credits are automatically deposited into your settlement bank. A couple of notes. Where some of the reward values you see are higher than the standard base amount, this is because on this character some traits have been unlocked on the specialization paths that increase the reward values. Players can accept missions in 2 ways. From the Landsraad grid, you'll first select the active house, and then from there choose the available mission that they're sponsoring. Or, from the Missions tab, you first select the mission and then choose which house you want to complete the mission for. Currently, each view provides different information. This area of the UI could be improved, as you'll likely need to flip between both views to satisfy your information needs. And of course, completing missions is the source of contribution points, and this is the main activity of the Landsraad. Completing a mission for a house that is contested, meaning unclaimed, will always award points towards faction contribution, voting power, and personal contribution.
If you assist me with certain matters, I could recommend the house vote in your favor.
Working to claim those house tiles is the essence of the faction versus faction competition. Importantly, completing a mission will always award personal contribution with a house. The tile could be contested or already claimed by either house. One faction may have in fact already won the weekly competition, decree voting might be underway, or you might be out of recollections to redeem. This is part of the specialization system. Even if your efforts don't progress the faction competition or specialization paths, you can always continue to grind out personal contribution for listed rewards. There is no limitation. As long as the Landsraad house is sponsoring missions, You will always be making progress towards house rewards. The faction competition is instantly won by the first faction to complete a horizontal, vertical, or diagonal line of claimed houses. This is a Cecilrad, basically a bingo. With coordinated effort, this can occur very early in the week. As a note, each house is aligned with only one set of missions based on specialization paths, and the grid layout will enforce that each row and each column will include one of each specialization option. Because of this, factions will need to complete missions across most objectives to win by Cecilrad or bingo. If a Cecilrad is not achieved, the Landsraad will be won by the faction that claimed the majority of the houses. If the number of houses claimed is tied, I believe total voting power earned by each faction is used to break that tie. A few details about voting power. The losing faction does not get to participate in voting. Only the faction that wins will actually be able to use their earned voting power to influence which decree will become active in the following week. It's that time, guys. Please help support the channel by subscribing. You can also leave a like or comment, which really does help with the algorithm. And if you happen to be interested in live gameplay, I do stream weekly on Twitch, and I really do appreciate your support. Thank you so much, guys. If your faction wins and your guild has accumulated voting power, the guild leader will be prompted to cast the guild's votes for one of the 3 available decree options. Oh yeah, that's what we really want right here. These decrees can influence the server in a number of ways. Bonuses to combat, crafting, special vendor access,
I am permitted to trade with those favored by the Landsraad.
XP gains, and PvP. Warning, one decree in particular, the right of salvage, will enable full loot PvP in the deep desert for the entire week. If you die to PvP, you'll drop all of the items in your backpack as well as what you have equipped. All players that could travel to a PvP area should make it a habit to check which decree is active for the week on their server. You don't want to fall victim to losing all of your gear to a PvP death and not even realizing you had it all on the line. Each Landsraad term lasts for 1 week. With the prospect of gaining the benefits of the decree, this faction competition can be fierce. On weekly reset, the 5x5 grid is shuffled, and the faction versus faction battle starts anew. In the following week, while the winning decree is active, the losing faction will gain a small buff. This buff will increase Landsraad contribution points by 20%. This buff can stack up to 5 times, giving a bonus of plus 100% contribution points if a faction suffers 5 or more consecutive losses. And then upon any single win, this faction bonus will reset to 0. While this bonus can't actually ensure balance, the intent is to give the losing faction a greater chance to claim houses and rewards in the following week. In theory, this should make it more difficult for one faction to dominate week after week after week. Here we can see an example of this bonus. This player's faction has lost 2 consecutive weeks. We can see a 40% bonus is applied to all earned contribution points. Based on your personal contributions, claiming your rewards from each house can be tedious. You will need to seek out each Landsraad house representative individually.
Of course, you've more than earned it.
They are located throughout Haga Basin, faction settlements, and the Deep Desert Shield Wall.
House Selection always pays its debts. Here.
Warning, when claiming rewards, be sure you have enough backpack space for all of the rewards.
Do you have business with House Lindaren?
I've seen other people mention that any items that would overflow your inventory could be lost permanently. Here's a few additional notes about house rewards. Each reward becomes available as soon as you reach the contribution requirement for that tier. While you could collect an individual reward immediately, you can also let more rewards from that house stack up as you continue to progress through the contribution tiers. These rewards will even accrue week to week.
State your business.
So you don't have to claim them right away. I'm not sure if there's an absolute time limit for collecting rewards. I would say generally, if there's a blueprint or other reward that you don't want to risk losing, I would recommend collecting that reward in a timely manner. While personal contribution points indicate what reward tiers you've earned, the system does not track which rewards you've collected. With the potential for having rewards from so many houses, you may need to develop your own tracking tool. And then critically, when the Landsraad resets, all information regarding your earned contribution points can no longer be viewed. Again, you may want to develop your own tracking tool, or else just diligently collect rewards during the week while the information is still visible.
What business do you have with House Hiccup?
With the basics covered, here are some additional advanced mechanics and details. While each day 5 Landsraad houses will begin sponsoring missions, each week a few houses will accept bribes. If a faction member pays the bribe, that house will begin sponsoring missions only for the faction that bribed them. This head start will continue until that house would have randomly become available for that week. Players who are new to the Landsraad will encounter this confusing message to speak with house representatives. This refers to the bribe mechanic. The baseline bribe cost is 300 spice melange. You must have the spice melange in your personal inventory.
What is it you offer the great house of Verota? I suppose a proper offering of spice melange could suffice.
Keep in mind, however, most houses don't actually accept bribes. So, if you have the spice melange on you, but the option to bribe is not available, this simply means that they won't accept the bribe, and the only option is to wait until the house unlocks normally throughout the week.
What business do you have?
As you can see here, with bribing, it's possible for a faction to completely claim a house even before that house was ever unlocked for all factions. It's clear that this house was bribed because we can't see the rewards, and the house remains inactive on the missions page. Even though this house has been claimed early, you can continue to monitor the tile as the house will still unlock at some point during the week in case you're interested in any of the personal rewards that they may offer. Voting power can still be earned while any of the houses remain contested. This example clearly shows that personal contribution and voting power have both been awarded for a mission completed for this unclaimed house, even when a Cecilrad win condition has already been met. In this example, I'm showing that even when a house is ultimately claimed by an opposing faction, voting power that you earned with this house while it was still contested is not lost. The total voting power earned that's shown here exceeds all possible contributions that I've made to houses either claimed by my faction or still contested. In reality, the voting power has been earned by contributions to these 3 houses before each was claimed. As long as your faction goes on to win the Landsraad, you'll be able to utilize all the voting power that you've earned throughout the week. A quick word about Deep Desert control points. Control points are a method for earning Landsraad contribution points by holding contested PvP-enabled locations. While these have currently been disabled, developers have communicated that these should be reintroduced in some fashion with updates in the future. There you have it. This is how you and your faction can win the Landsraad, or at least get some rewards for yourself. Good luck, gamers, and we'll see you next time.